All right. Good evening, everyone. How are we doing? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. If you can't, I guess you remain quiet. Um, it will also help me to know how your network is lagging. Uh, all right. So if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Or give me a sign if you can hear me. You can also see my screen. Let me know. Let me know. I want to see someone. Hello. Hello. Anybody there?
Hello.
All right. All right. You can hear me, right?
Sure, loud and clear.
Powerful, powerful. I'm projecting the slide. Can you see the slide too as well?
Sure.
Yeah, we can.
Powerful. Let's roll. Tonight we are pretty much going to finish everything under 210. God, per what we have, right? Per what the lecturer has posted on the page. And so let's believe God. So if tell a friend to join, okay? So that we finish everything that it's on. Okay, so tonight, tell them that the tutor is in. The tutor is in. Let me project the full screen so that all can see. All right. If you can hear me clearly and the sound is clear, and then you can see what I'm projecting. I don't know. I think some people are in the lobby.
You come
But
to see our food and then you are come to do yourself as if like food no way. Oh dear. Hey.
Mami Monica, were you aware your mic was on, or you just wanted to say something? Okay, so we want to begin with week two. Week two. Let me see. 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 We want to go through what we did under week two, and so that we can catch up with week three and then move on. All right. Tonight, like I said, we'll complete everything on UGLC 210. Okay. So with academic writing, we are about how IT professionals communicate among each other, the jargons, the terms, and so on. And so throughout this topic, especially in lesson one, we were talking about some of these things and how it comes about. And so in week three or week two beginning, we are going to talk about, let me come here, right? Yeah, how the formality, right? How academic writing, right, takes its formal shape, and how it needs to be professional. The look of your writing to your colleagues in your profession must always be professional, right? So we are going to talk about that, and it must have aim, your communication to your colleagues having its aim. We are also going to talk about a feature of academic writing that talks about clarity, right, and precision. How it must be open, your communication must be open so that anybody in your academic community within this profession, right, that we are writing to, anybody within that scope can clearly understand what you want to communicate to your colleague at your workplace, in your business, and so on and so forth, right? And your directness to the information you want to relate to your colleague, right? And its understanding, general understanding, right? And its framework, right? The foundations of it. How well does it make sense? So basically, we are going to talk about these things today. And so when we talk about academic writing in this context of the IT professionals, right, being formal, we are talking about the need to be professional, as I was saying, and the need to exempt the use of certain words, right, including number one, the avoidance of slangs, right, and informal expressions. So slangs are basically informal shortcuts to saying certain things, right? Saying certain formal words that we all know and we are all learned. So if you have certain in our semi-formal or informal way of communication when it comes to academic writing or writing to your profession. So this academic writing, I relate it to profession because this academic writing is towards a particular academic community which entails IT professionals, right? And so we must have it at the back of our mind all the time. And so the use of slangs is pretty much prohibited, right? And then we must avoid contractions. You know, there are certain words that they are conjuncted, right? And so when you are writing as an academic writer, right, you need to be aware of these things. And so words that would have you cut them short in order to bring conjunctional signs to for you, those ones you try to avoid, else your writing will be deemed either semi-formal or informal, and you don't want to be in that category because academic writing has a tone of formality. Please take note of the terms that I'm using. All right, it has a tone of formality, it has a feature of formality, so it must always be formal. There is no day that as an academic writer your expressions should, or your statements should be made informal or even semi-formal. So you mustn't take these for granted. All right, so we must also use complete sentences. You know, most of the times we use clauses and phrases. How many of you do not know about clauses? If you don't know about phrases, can you raise your hand and I'll gladly teach us about phrases? Any hand? Who does not know about phrases and clauses? Okay, so if you are feeling shy, I'll still say it. So a phrase is basically words that are put together, right? That behaves like a part of a speech, right? So is supposed to be a full sentence, but it's not. So example is what? My brother, my brother what? My brother, your brother did what? We don't know what my, you see, I don't want, should I go into details? Okay, so if you use a noun phrase, so there are types of phrases. Okay, so we have a noun phrase, we have adjectival phrase, and then we have adverbial phrase, right? And so on. And so, depending on which level you learned, you would have more phrases. So, with the noun phrase, it's a phrase that is centered on the name of a thing or a person, right? But the sentence is always cut short. And adjectival phrases are ones that have to do with the description of an item, but it's also incomplete, right, of a sentence. And so, a typical example would be what? Uh, okay, so in a different shade of blue, in a different shade of blue. So blue is describing what? An item. And what is it describing about the item? It's describing the color. Okay, so over there you can see a description, right? Shade of blue. And so you know right away that colors are descriptions, help you to describe. Sizes also help you to describe an item or a person, right? So anything. So, but the sentence is not it's not full, right? And then we also have adverbial phrase, right? It's been a while, but God is with us. So adverbial phrases. Um, someone's mic is on. Anybody is speaking? Is someone speaking?
Slides because I'm seeing formality slide. Or
Come again. This one I'm teaching. They are not in your slides, so your slides
okay.
are our slides. Let me just say our slides.
Well, but the one you are showing on your screen is what I'm talking about.
Okay. Come, come again.
I'm saying the phrases you are talking about, are you showing it slides or?
No. It's not. I'm displaying the slides, the official slides. But what I'm saying, they are not on the slides. It's just fetching back. You know, we are talking about incomplete sentences, and I'm elaborating on incomplete sentences. So if you are writing, you can draw my attention, and I'll slow down, or perhaps go back, and then, you get me.
Okay, all right.
So these are just side note. You know that the slide have been contracted, right? And so I'm just expanding on the third point, which is use complete sentences. Do you get it now?
Yes, please, I do.
Powerful. So I was on what was it? I spoke about what? Noun phrase. I spoke about what? Adjectival phrase, right? And we are still on the incomplete. We are still on the use of incomplete sentences, and I'm elaborating on the use of incomplete sentences and some of the sentences that are incomplete that students engage or normally commits, right, to, and then the types of incomplete sentences or that we have. So we learned that a type of an incomplete sentence can be a phrase, right? And I was talking about phrases, and I was like, okay, then there's a need for you to also know the types of phrases that there is, for you to know the types of incomplete phrases that are there, right? And I was contemplating whether to share with you or not. But since we are teaching extensively, you must know these ones. And so I spoke about the noun phrase, right? And I spoke about the adjectival phrase. So that leaves us with the adverbial phrase, right? Adverbial thing actually, but is the based on what we are doing. Okay, we don't even know have to know these ones, but just a side note. Okay, so the adverbial phrase is it's like it's a type of phrase. What's an adverb that qualifies a verb, right? Is it does it qualify a verb? I say, oh,
Exactly,
somebody
exactly.
say
Modified.
it modifies a verb, and so you look at any word that is used to modify, right, or fine tune a verb. So if I say you are cooking and your I add that, you see, cooking or to cook is a verb, right? But if you are doing the cooking well or not, whether it is good or not, how I qualify it, or for the SHS word, how I modify it would determine on the use of adverbs, right? So it is adverbs, add, as the name suggests, adding to the verb. So if Mr. Annan is dancing and he's dancing really bad because of his waist pain, anyways, because if he's dancing and we add a way that either his dancing is good or bad, that qualifies it, whether it's a beautiful dance or it's a crooked waist pain dance or an old man type of dancing. It is the work of the adverb that will qualify or modify or alterate the intensity of the verb. Are we following? It it adds the intensity. It shows us the intensity of what the action, because the verbs are the action, right? So it shows us the intensity of the action of what someone or something is doing. Do you get it? So adverbial phrase, which is a part of an incomplete sentence, can be dance with elegance and tact. So if you say something like with elegance and tact, with elegance, like just like that, we don't know what you are talking about. It's an incomplete sentence, and it's also a phrase. You see, for that matter, we say it's an adverbial phrase for the extensive learning of these things, right? And then we also have a part of incomplete sentences that are also called clauses. So a clause is any noun phrase plus a verb. So if you have a noun phrase, you see, now I told you about the noun phrase, which is just the, like, I gave you an example, like my brother stew what? You see, but if you have a noun phrase and then you add a verb to it, then now it becomes a clause. So it has it will have a clause, will have a noun, right, and then a verb, but it will still be incomplete. It should still be incomplete of a sentence. And so these are types of the incomplete sentences one may incur or commit, right, in the course of trying to be who is messaging me at this time. Yeah, so it's very important to notice. Sorry, my attention was taken away. Yeah, so which is, so we are still on the formality. And then the third point, as we were talking about, the use of incomplete sentences is not allowed in academic writing, and it's all under the rule of formality, which we must all adhere to. Right? So, and there's a need to maintain a professional tone. So, what is a professional tone? When you avoid slangs, so you see this point actually is a summary of all of them. But hey, for the purposes of your learning, it was separated. So you just take it and you go. So when you avoid the use of these slangs and informal expressions, avoiding contractions, right? And avoiding the use of complete sentences, you also have to be technical in the choice of your words. There are certain words that could be used for normal English sentence framing, right? That you could ignore and choose technical words for the industry we are in, right? Which is the IT field, right? Or the computer science field. And this would help you maintain a professional tone within the field one may find themselves. Are we following? And so these are some of the examples when it comes to formality. Mind you, there are other characters of academic writing that we'll look at. But the first one that we are looking at is the formality. And this is an example. These are some of the examples. I believe we look at it. An example of an informal sentence, right, is the results show that the new method works way better than the old one, right? It's an right, when you look at it, what makes it informal would be, number one, the choice of words, right? So when you add the list of items under the formality, you see that we have the use of slangs, informal expressions, avoiding contraction. All these things come together to make your work informal. You get it? So it is not just the signs, right? The apostrophes and the full stops alone, but also the choice of words, right? Maintaining the professional tone, remember. So using the technical words. So it can be even a correct sentence, right? You can check all the grammar and it might be correct. But the use of certain terms, if you could adjust and use technical terms, there are certain sentences we speak, right? They are generalized way of speaking. So when I speak the way I'm speaking now, I am not speaking technically for someone in the IT field, right? But if I'm to choose my words carefully to communicate to IT professionals, then these words I'm using in my sentences might change. So words like um, uh, process or analyze could be like process, right? In the IT field, right? Words like information, also we can in IT we have a difference between information and data, and so we will know by the way the sentence is framed, and we'll know the exact word to use. Do you get it? So it is up to us to learn the way and manner and the keywords in IT field, right? So once a while, if you are free, you can just go through some keywords in the IT field, right? In that you can use to replace common words in English, right? That it would help you to communicate well. This is why the doctors, medical doctors, know this a lot, and so this is why you go to the hospital and they will write something on the guys. forget it. Sometimes it's not the handwriting, it's because you don't know anything about it. But you see that when a pharmacist picks that same prescription, it's a formal thing to him, right? It's an industry standard way of communicating. And so when the pharmacist picks it right away, it shocks you that it's like they were writing a very powerful Arabic speech. And then you realize that the pharmacist will just pick it because they are in the same community, right? And so when they communicate, they use their own terms in that matter, in that this thing. You get it? For us, we are not yet graduated into the world, and so we remain in the community called academic community. So in as much as we are communicating as professionals, we communicate also academically because we are doing it for the purposes of studies, right? So let's bear that in mind. And so this is how come you have informal and then you have what? Academic. You get it. So words like a sentence like the results show that the new method works way better than the old one. It's a normal way of speaking, right? But if you are to arrange it better, right, in an academic way, right, for the sentence, you would go like the results indicate, right? Even the results, I was saying in our last session that even you can use a different term, right, for the results, right? You can use different term for the results because as scientists or as IT students, you can go with different form of words like that, right? Especially in the academic community where the end of something could be an evaluation or there's a word, if I remember, I'll say it. We normally use it in research, and it is the last thing that comes out after everything is done, right? It's like a form of results that comes out. And so it's also another technique that when I remember, I'll mention. Okay, so there are so many words that are academic that you can use in place of results. So indicate that, indicate to, yeah, that the new method performs significantly better than the previous approach. You see that right away, it sounds like a professional who is writing. And so normally when you even tell AI to write these things in a professional manner, you realize that you can just submit a normal sentence and tell it to translate and then be playing around that. You get it, just to use it. We also have, we looked at the data and found some pretty interesting patterns, right? We looked at the data and found some pretty interesting patterns, right? So from the first look, you might be intimidated by the use of some words already, right? But you can still find some loopholes here and there, right? And then use it to do your change, right? Or you can entirely reframe the whole sentence, just understanding it and reframing the whole thing by chipping in certain IT terms to explain the same words that you are having in the informal side, all right? And so this same sentence will come out academically as an analysis of the data, right? Reviewed, because data is already technical, right? It's already a formal way of talking, right? Reviewed. This one, the informal side, they could have expanded it to say something like information, but it would have been something, an explanation to how data or information is, then you will now understand that, okay, so what they are trying to say is a data, like it means data. So you now form it. Okay, so anyhow it goes, you must rather think on the side of a professional or an academic, right? A professional and an academic, and then know how to. So these are some of the examples, right? The next point or the feature of academic writing is objectivity. Objectivity. So we must focus on facts and evidence, right? There's a need for us as academic writers to make sure that what we are talking about is tested and proven. As academics, it is expedient that we do our checks, right? Someone say checks and balances. Okay, before we analyze and then we even start the whole science or scientific process in coming out with our conclusion, right? And so everything that we must do or everything we do must be must go through the scientific method in order to arrive at a conclusion or a verdict or judgment or thesis. I'm giving the different words to the same thing. Okay. Avoid depending on where or which industry that you may find yourself, right? Avoid emotional or biased language. You see, going back to the first one, one way of providing evidence is also by referencing, and we are going to talk about it. You must show the data that backs what you are saying. You must show the statistics that backs what you are saying as well. And so, because what we are doing is a science, it must be backed by data, it must be backed by statistics, right? And so on, right? The next point is avoid emotional or biased language. You don't communicate because you are emotionally connected to someone or something. You get it? So it must be strictly on the facts and the figures and the evidence. All right. Yeah, that's why I am. You should be worried when journalists are communicating with emotions. When they go and they are learning, they are not supposed to add emotions to, oh, na papa no why. No, yours is just communicate and go away. Then the people will make the judgment. But these days, the journalists make their own judgment. Hey, it's like they are pulling us to make the decisions. Anyway, so the decision that they have already made. Okay, so there's a need to avoid being biased, right? And emotional, right? In it. Limit personal opinions. Limit personal opinions. What you think of it does not make it scientific. What makes it scientific is by the experiment that has gone into backing what you are saying. The tests that have gone into it should be the evidence that you provide and not what you want to prescribe, right? So it is based on, it should be based on what? Facts and not personal opinions. And so the next one is what? Support claims with sources. Just like your evidences, your sources must show or prove. We must be able to trace where you got what. You get it? What is inspiring what you are saying? Where is it emanating from? Where it came from? Another feature of academic writing is clarity and precision, right? Very, very important, right? Your words must be simple and clear, right, in your communication. Okay. Uh, sometimes it is not, but what do you have to do? has to be simple and clear. So when you are given a sentence in the exam, right? And we are going to look at some of them, okay? In course of the week, you do some 20 question quiz, and then I'll use it to track everybody's growth on the studies of academic writing to Cbas 210, all right? And so you see this time you type in something, okay? Type in something. It shouldn't always be the MCQs, all right? And it's going to be 20 questions, and then you use 3 minutes to do it. I think that will be powerful. Yeah. I think everybody is happy with it. So it must be clear and then simple so that all of us would understand. When you write and we don't understand, it's either you are living in a different world or we are living in a different world. So it must be straight to the point. It must be clear of any nuisance, right? Or any what's this term? Noise, right? It must be clear of any grapevine, grapevine. All right, these are things that do not help in communication, and so you must avoid the use of these things, else your communication means something else than what you want to put out there. The slightest change in word can change the meaning of the intention you want to communicate. And so one must be aware of the choice of words so that it becomes clearer to the reader, right? Or in this case, the lecturer, okay? Avoid unnecessary words, right? The use of unnecessary words. Be specific and accurate. Go straight to the point. Not now that you are going to think this and that before. No, you go straight to the point in academic writing. You know, some people in Ghana, some people feel it is rude to go straight to the point. But when you are writing professionally, you need to be aware of these things, all right? Not only academically, but even when you're applying for jobs and things. These are some of the things. Recently, we were outsourcing for a company, and one of the things we were using to turn down employees was even the way they were communicating in their how do you call it? This thing that they do, bio, right? Professional summary. The choice of words they are just looking for something to just drop you. You see, so we should go straight to the point because they have so many CVs that they are looking at. You see, professionals all over the place. And so the way and manner you frame your sentences would determine if you'll be picked or not. Okay. So it's very important. Specific, straight to the point, accurate, hit the jackpot, and then you go your way. It is not being rude. There are certain words you would use, right? You see, as I'm speaking, I love to use the word would. So to the mind of a professional, would is a way of being polite professionally. May I? You see. So these are some of the simple ways. So don't think that being straight to the point is being disrespectful. Not at all. Not at all. Hit it. Bah. Okay. It is known that the CEOs are always busy. You see. And so one of the simple ways is just go straight. You know, some people, it's the same way that let me just bring this one in. That some people, they'll send you a message at, first of all, they'll send you the message at 12 a.m. And then when they send it, they will say 12 a.m. They'll say good morning, and then they'll go offline. So you come, yours is to just come and say good morning. So when you say your good morning, you are gone, and then the person will come and continue. How are you? You see, so these are some of the things we need to look at. specific, accurate, straight to the point. And then we go, okay? We have changed. Anyways, define technical terms. Define technical terms. So as I was saying, you can use technical terms as a professional, right? But in academic, hey, this thing, I've remembered something. It's not something bad I did, but you know, when we're in level 100, we're doing, I think it was critical, was it critical thinking also? Yeah, critical thinking. One of the assignments or the IAs also, where I think the IAs, we did it several times, right? Yeah, where the first one, she didn't give the industries where we should pick our things from, we should source our this thing from, right? And so me, I picked mine on music. Specific. I was so specific and accurate on it, and I knew that the lecturer would need to go and search on some of the things to understand what this guy, what he's even talking about. Oh Jesus! So I could see that in the next exercises, the lecturer now stated that your work should be in medicine, law, and I think something else. And I was just, I think business also. And I was just laughing at the back. So we must be. It was so technical. It was so technical. What I wrote, I knew that. I mean, myself, when I was done, I was like, wow. So, but we shouldn't take on this habit. It's not good. It's not good. So, um, technicalities can make your work professional, but as an academic writer, right, you are writing to a community of people who are learning, and so it must be technical but not too technical, because even when you go back a bit, you see that some of the words are a bit technical, right? You have to literally technicalize some of the terms, because in the law of formality, you have to, one of the rules is that you need to maintain a professional tone, remember, and then avoid slang and informal expressions. Are you seeing it here? Yeah. And then yeah, maintain professional tone. And so it must be technical, as you can see over here in the example 2, where it uses, even the example 1, you see, indicate metals performing significantly, blah blah blah. And over here too, you can see example 3, right? This study examines, right, the use of technology. And so to someone, the word examine can be technical, so you must know how to balance out your, where are we, yeah, balance out the way and manner. But I would maintain that for the purposes of exams, you add this to being clear. But you should know your audience too, okay? As a writer or as someone who is communicating, you should know the kind of people you are reaching out to, so that you know the choice of words. It's very, very important. All right. All right. Okay, so academic vocabulary, the choice of words, the usage of words, use discipline specific. So discipline specific basically mean that you should maintain your domain. So in this regard, we are talking about the IT, the computer science environment. You get it? And so, and its related terms and jargons, formal ones, of course, right? And so on and so forth. So, and then avoid using vague words, right? So, broad meaning, it basically means nothing. You see, it's like you are saying a lot of things, but you're not saying anything. It's too broad for us. It's too wide, you know, and it almost doesn't make sense. You get it? Yeah. So it it's also basically letting you go straight. You see, when you go straight to the point in the write-ups, it helps a lot. Okay, being consistent with terminology. So in this rule, you must maintain consistency in your words. Maintain consistency in your words. Maintain consistency in your words. Okay, so we will look at some common language errors, right? Some common language errors in this topic, right? So what are some of the errors? Some of them we've talked about them. You can just virtually fetch from the the characteristics of academic writing, and then especially the beginning, and then pick some of them, and then we will just extract and then generate the answers for these ones. So the use of contractions have come again. Overuse of first person pronouns. Okay, overuse of first person pronoun. And then what? Informal expressions, ambiguous statements, and so on, right? Your statements must be void of ambiguity. Who remembers what ambiguity means? Anybody? Or should I say, or should we go back to first person? Hello, is someone in the house? Or I should mention name, first person pronouns. Who can help us? Anybody? Oh, let's make the class lively. Oh, who remembers first person pronouns? Some of our colleagues, it's been 10,000 years since they've been in school. So help and let's go. Yes, let's come teach. Or you all studied French. Oh, is nobody in the class?
Yeah, yes, sir.
First person pronoun.
I.
First person pronouns. Come here, so my camera no cry. Hey, Mohammed. Yeah. I can't damn if I saw my camera. Oh, but it's not bad if I turn on my camera though. Just I'll just put pressure on this laptop. It's magical. Yes. Oh, first person pronouns.
I.
I thought you were saying I so that you answer something.
I
I am man or Rasta man. Which I are you talking about?
I.
I and I. Is it I and I or
I and my father are one.
I and my father? Okay, so you mean the letter I? Okay, that's what I wanted you to clarify. You get it now. So yes, the first person pronouns I and I, singular. I. You know, in the first person pronoun, we have the subject pronoun, we have object pronoun, we have the possessive, right? Yeah. With the moko echiri kakra yay, possessive pronoun, reflexive, I can't say reflexive pronoun. So I, me, mine, myself, okay. We, I can't say. The plural will be we, us, ours, ourselves. I, me, he. Anyways, so tonight I'm taking you back a bit. Let's see. So we talked about phrases and the types of phrases as incomplete sentences, right? And we talked about clauses and the types of clauses. And let's move on with that. Today we'll finish everything. So brace yourself. Be writing. You see, a lot of the things I'm saying, they are not in your slides. As our dear Madam, where is she? Madam Dede asked, you see, they are not in the slides. They are not in the slides. You see, unless I say I'm sitting down to recreate my own slides, then I'll come and use it to be teaching. Okay. So try and be writing some of these things. The aim is to help you learn extensively by exposing you to these things. Okay, so try and be writing. It's very, 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 very important. Very, very important. Very, very important. I'm trying to go to my projected screen. I was just looking at your names. I wanted to mention some people's names that I'm having mercy upon mercy upon. So we have a class activity. We write, but we will not use this one. We will use a different one. It's going to be 20 questions. I said I'll give you 3 minutes. Nobody said anything. So we have agreed, since there is no so based on everything. Come again. Does someone
please 3 minutes. 3 minutes for 20 questions.
Yes, 3 minutes.
Hey, please, increase it. 3 minutes.
So what are you proposing? You are proposing 3.5 minutes, or?
So I think since it's 20 questions, somewhere 7 minutes will do.
Yeah. The work that you are going to use AI to do, you want 7 minutes. Oh, but try not to use AI to do. Okay.
Yeah, sure. We want to.
You see, when I do it, it's not because I'm wicked. I'm also part of you. But you see, it should let you have a feeling of the. You've made me remember something. The Cons 101 students, I have a list of 20 questions waiting for them, fully prepared. They think they are free. I'm going to drop it and give them 2 minutes to do it. Or you say I'm not. It's very simple, but you see, it should help you to. I'm kidding. It's not going to be 2 minutes or 4 minutes or 3 minutes, right? But it's supposed to give you that exam environment, that those things, right? The euphoria around the whole thing. Do you get it? So don't worry. Except that sometimes if nobody speaks for the class, I just allow it like that. And anybody that attempts it, I'm watching everyone. And so with the Cons, what I do is that I'll be monitoring everybody's progress. As you move ahead, I will be following. And you should be able to try it multiple times, right? So if you get, let's say, 10 over 20, which is a pass, right? You should try it again. And I expect that when you try it again, you get a higher mark. You should try it until you get the 100%. Then you should try the 100%. So it's interesting. You can be in a Trotsky while there's traffic, you're going to work, and then you are just doing it as a game on your phone. It should be your game, right? Yeah, so it's interesting. It should be your little puzzle. And I'm going to make it reshuffle, and the same questions will not come in the same lineup, and the same options of answers on the MCQ side will not also pop up in the same order as it's supposed to be, so that it will just joke around with your mind, right? So that you don't save the positions of the answers, but you save the answers itself in your mind. Yeah. Okay. So I'll be monitoring. So if you get too low a score for several times, I'll DM you. Because you fill your number too. If you fill a wrong number and you fill a wrong name, but we'll locate you. That one too will locate you. Locate you by your IP address. They will come and charge you by your phone and then everything. They will come and so everybody should do well to try. Okay, very interesting. Okay, so let's move on to writing. Academic writing must be so basically in a nutshell, what we talked about is that academic writing must be formal, language must be objective and clear, vocabulary improves quality, right? Vocabulary improve. Let me look at those people who are laughing at me. Okay, nobody laughed. So vocabulary improves quality. Vocabulary improves quality. Why am I resting on this place? Let me just move on before this thing. After listening to a certain lecture, my life has never been the same. So let's move on. Oh, that's it. So this is the end of lecture 2, right? We move on to lecture 3, week 3, and then we'll be left with week 4, right? With week 3, let me just zoom in. All right, I told you we'll finish everything so that we just get on. Can you see my screen? Projecting.
Yes.
So by the end of this, yeah, you can see, right?
Yes, please.
All right. So by the end of this lecture, we should all be able to what? Identify the nature of academic writing, how and the way and style and manner it comes about. How are you able to identify that this one is the academic writing? Types of academic writing. What are the very types? Did you know that we have types of academic writing? What are some of the types? We are going to talk about importance of academic writing, right? And sources of academic writing. Okay. All right. So academic writing, the introduction of everything. So academic texts are an essential part of learning and research in computing. So we are talking about academic tests within the computing students environment. And so it's very important to know the academic tests with regards to the course you are doing. In other words, the terms in the course you are doing. So that's why I said in the beginning that one of the things you should do is to get some keywords in the computing world, right? Keywords that replaces normal words or normal terminologies. So if you say result, which we say a lot in computing, which is not supposed to be so, what is its immediate substitute in the computing world? Right? Good. So when we say thinking, calculating, or what are some of the things? Thinking through or thoroughly. What are we? What are the yeah? So computing students regularly engage with what? Textbooks, journal articles, technical reports, and research papers. As an academic writer, you should have with you journals to make references from, like theses from people and research work from learned people. You should be looking out for such project works, right? So in the University of Ghana, I don't know about other universities, all research works done by students and not just research work, all works done by students and tutors and teachers alike, lecturers alike, sorry, are having copyright protections on them. And so you as a lecturer, you as a student, you don't have the right to own those things. As soon as these slides, the lecturer who made it, as soon from the onset, the time that they made this, it doesn't belong to them again, according to the new copyright rules 2025 of University of Ghana laws for lecturers, right? So even the videos that they do, it doesn't belong to them. You get it? And so they have this reservoir, and what they do is that they open it up to the public and sometimes go to the extent of lending or let people, have access by paying a token or something, right? So governments or people in other nations come and have access to your research work, and then they go and implement it there. So we have countries. Ghana has a lot of research done, not only in academics. Just by the way, let me chip in this one. Ghana has been doing research on nuclear energy, right? Atomic stuff, right? For over 60 plus years. Over 60 years. And so Now, what Ghana is doing is that Ghana is advising, Ghana is on top of the board of people who advises atomic nations or nuclear nations with advice on keeping these nuclear reactors and so on and so forth. As a result of doing this research for so many years, even though ourselves we have only one nuclear reactor, and that one we can't find it. But we are advising nations. You get it? And so the research that the people have done over the years, it's at the disposal of other nations who are readily available to do that. But I foresee that Ghana will have nuclear stations for energy, to produce energy very soon, right? In the coming years, maybe 2 years time, Ghana should have that to curb the doomsday situations. But we must know how we handle the proceeds of the nuclear or the atomic, the extra part of it that comes out. In countries like Finland, they keep them in barrels or like holes deep that goes deep in the ground, right? Hundreds of feet in the ground. Finland, that's what they do. But in countries like Japan that have experience, because you can't keep them, and it takes thousands of years to degrade by itself. You see, and even when a small portion, even the air blows it small and it passes in your nose or something, you give birth and your child's hand is coming from their forehead, and their nose will be at their back. That's how serious the nuclear thing is. So that's why this nuclear bombs thing must be discouraged. So research is available for people to study as academicians to get more knowledge on these things, right? And Ghana has a full reservoir of these things, including the University of Ghana, right? Yeah, so research works are very important and key to academic writers to be able to, once in a while, I exit to see if I'm still connected, right? Or I'm still projecting. Okay. Or even my microphone is on. Is that all right? Powerful. Okay. So present Makobo a 2-page view. Now it should be clear for everyone. Adeɛ no adeɛ wɔ hɔ ne baby. Don't say akɔka ayɛ den. Ɛyɛ asɛm o, nyame ne hene. Now the thing is coming to yay. All right. So now I think it's okay now. I think it's okay now. Yeah, I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry. So sorry. So sorry. So sorry. And so yeah, research work very important for academic writers, right? And also journals, articles, technical reports, right? And research works, research papers are at the disposal of academic writing students, especially computing students studying academic writing, to explore. And we are going to use some of these works, research works. I'm going to analyze them. One of the things I would advise is that don't just use the AI just to do the work and just go your way. You can just use the AI to summarize everything and just tell you the research. So if it is Dr. Dingo that you are analyzing his work, after you do the work, you can just use that same AI that you use to just summarize everything that is basically talking about, right? And then explain it to you so that you understand basically and take off the technicalities of the words so that you can understand it, right? And then know what he was trying to communicate. Just understand. And then perhaps see your own way that you could do things, right? After it breaks is broken down to you, you can also see ways that you can do. So in so doing, you are also building data, right? On maybe when it gets to your turn, you know what to do, right? By the time it reaches, if you focus on his field, or maybe let's say you decide to go on his field and you want to do something like that, you know where to focus by that time, because by that time you may have gathered enough data on other people's works and all that, right? And yours can be a better one. Okay, so let's use those things at to our disposal. These texts are used to explain concepts, evaluate technologies, and present research findings. Okay, very important. What are academic tests? What are academic tests? So they are scholarly and research-based documents. So when we say scholarly, what are we talking about? Based on studying, education, right? And academics, right? And also something that has been properly and thoroughly investigated, right? Before they do come out. You get it? So these are the academic tests. So when we say academic tests, these are examples of what they entail. That's number one. Another example of what they entail is what? Written by experts. So you are the expert. You get it? Academic tests are written by experts. So you are the experts. The lecturer is the expert. So it's basically known that academicians are the ones who write academic texts. Okay, and it is published in journals. Are you ready to do publishing on your research works? Get ready. You'll be doing that very soon. I think level 300 or so will start those things, or level 400. Okay, yeah. So get ready. Actually, all the works we do, like I think the essay type, like the one that's critical thinking, which is around philosophy, was making us do some of the things like the one I was joking about with that. I wrote it. I knew how technical I made the thing, and I wrote it on music and the technicalities in music and all that. And these ones, you see that it's going to be stored by the school. This is why the school is very particular about plagiarism, because if they are keeping all these works, right, and people are going to consume them, they need to ensure that your works are also not plagiarized. So apart from it being marked and all that, these things are also available for people to look at. Sometimes they may share it with other universities and so on. Yep. So this is why plagiarism is key in academic writing, so that what you put out there is not a copy entirely. That's why I was telling you, you can look at someone's own to do, but you just find a way of making it better, right? By collecting the data. For example, China, I learned China is taking, they are not fighting the war now, right? But you see that they have their devices all over the place where Americans are, all over the place where the Iranians are, all over the place where the Israelis are, right? And what they are doing is that they are taking data, how America releases their weapon, how they position themselves. They are watching everything. And I'm sure by now they even have an AI that collects all this data and use it to make decisions intelligently. So in the future, when China wants to fight with America or its allies, they have a whole pool of database to refer from based on past experiences, right? And so this is how these data are available to them. They help them in future this thing. So it doesn't mean that they are copying, but they would make the things better. And so, for instance, Americans make something and then they try and make better, like better devices, better machines that may have more functions. In the beginning, they may seem funny or like they are not serious, but you see, over time they catch up. When Chinese started making phones, we were laughing at them. But over time, based on their research work, their commitment to doing and collecting data and all that, and using making references from other distance. You know, when a Chinese man comes to your shop, you must run away. They normally don't buy things. They'll come. Even their food, they eat their own food. You know, so when they come to your shop, they are coming to just search about some things and then go over and open the same shop, but better. So research work are very, very important and key. Published journals are very important, right? And these ones are key to help you gain the knowledge, extended knowledge on how to write as an academician. All right. Types of academic tests. We have the journal articles, we have the conference papers, technical reports, the textbooks. You see, the textbooks. So basically, it is what it is. So these are some of the documents, right, that are available for these people. What's their name? What are their names? All right. So all right. So basically, sorry over there. Basically, an academic text in a nutshell would be those formal texts, as we said in the beginning. So it's formal. You can base on the use of the characteristics or the features of academic writing. You talk about academic text. So where you talk about its formality, evidence-based, written by experts, so on, knowledgeable, based on have sources, references, and so on and so forth, right? Objectivity, you know, all those ones. It's not someone's casual distant blog or a quick news, you know. And now we have a lot of informal news articles that are not necessarily academic. You see, they want to target a group of people, and so they tend to use certain slangs in order to communicate the news. But we are talking about the formal ones, right? The ones that are straight to the point, have professional tones. Let me just drink some water. Formal tones and so on, right? And so, in simple terms, this is what it entails. Okay. So when we say they are written by experts, which I spoke about, they are ones that are carefully chosen. Their words are carefully chosen, right? And they are based on research work and so on and so forth. Do you get it? People who have been in the industry for a while. You get it? But for the purposes of your paper, learn it like that. But you can also write academic pieces, right? Journals and so on. So why is it important for you to learn, right, academic writing? Why? Why is it important? so that you can, it helps you to spot like reliable news, right? Helps you to tell the differences between a well-researched article and a clickbait. Nowadays, there are a lot of articles that are out there, news articles especially, that are supposed to inform the people. But at the end of the day, you realize that it's either an advert is standing on the topic of the moment to do advert. Now everything is about money. Everybody wants to do something that will pull the crowd so that they do advertisement. And so if you want a good information, looking out for an academic piece is key to getting closer to identifying the source as a credible one. You get it? So I'm not saying that if they write good English, they are credible news. We are here, and certain people like certain news, the traditional media, they have a way of communicating certain things to misinform certain people. Not all of them, certain groups. They don't communicate the thing well because of their secret agendas, and they misinform people to think in a certain line. You get it? Even though they are communicating well enough. So, but that's just by the way. For the purpose of your studies, you should look out for one that has the features of academic write-ups, which we have studied, and it will lead you to spotting reliable news articles, right, or articles. Another thing, a reason why it's important for you to learn academic writing is it helps you to make informed decisions. So whether you are reading about a new health trend, right, which is the what's the latest new health trend? Or something around computing, right, for example, or even a financial product, you can properly how do you call this word? You can properly evaluate the evidence behind the claims. You see, as an academic writer or as an academician, you can properly go through to see its references. You see the evidence that are provided, the sources that are provided. Based on your studies on academic writing, you'll be able to identify these things, and then you'll be able to conclude. That's what I use. I use the word evaluate, and then means that you come to a conclusion that or pronounce your judgment that, okay, indeed, this one is a credible source, this one is not. So when people are fighting over the news, you can just go behind and identify the sources, identify the references, and be able to conclude that, oh, this write-up, this journal is credible, right, or not, or can't be trusted. You get it? There are some times that people have referred certain communications to me right away from the top. You know that this one is it's fake. You get it? So it's very important that we notice that. Another reason why you should study academic writing is helps you to build strong arguments, right? Build strong arguments. What are some of the things? See, when you need to persuade someone for a project or for a proposal, even if it's in a debate, right? You can back up your points with solid information, because it helps you to get from different sources, right? Because you know that you have studied that these things must have sources, they must be referenced. You also want to make sure that you will not provide just one or two sources, but a lot, so that you can make a proper argument, right? Proper argument, not just pick a few this thing and then you go your way. You get it? So the structure of an academic test, right? Which is the detective map. Let's move on to the next slide. Let's move on to the next slide. Let's move on to the next slide. So these are the documents. So the technical reports. These are the technical reports are like the ones that I wanted to say technical people provide, but it will be a secular definition. So it's one that has specific terminologies for specific people within a given location, or should I say a specific location, right? So they are in a specific industry and they use specific terms, right, to communicate. To them, it may not be technical, but to you who is not in the industry, it will sound technical to you, like a doctor communicating to a pharmacist and you trying to comprehend what is written in the prescription. You get it? And you are not. So over there, everything there is technical to you. You know, the things will give you the heebie-jeebies. And you may not see top. People may tear up their prescription because they say, Dr. Wepa, one trophy. But you go and give it to the pharmacy, it will shock you. You'll start moving your hand. So these are some of the documents that we use as academicians, right? We use as academic. And then conference papers too can also be a source of information to academicians, right? And refer, we've talked about the journal articles. Let's move on. Nature of academic tests. The textbooks, I believe we all know textbooks. Nature of academic tests in computing, right? Nature of academic tests in computing. What was I talking about that? So I was talking about the structure of an academic test, right? And the nature of it, right? So most academic tests follow a predictable structure. Think of it like, sorry, it seems like I've not eaten. Think of it as the blueprint of a house, right? If you know the blueprint, you know where to find the kitchen, the bedroom, the bathroom, the where the living room, the washroom. Oh, why is my network vanishing? I think I'm back. I think I'm back. Am I back? If you can hear me, let me know. Let me know. Oh, they are saying my network is weak. Yeah, so but if you can hear me, let me know. 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 If you can hear me, let me know. Oh, nobody can hear me. Mr. Boavin, can you hear me? Or mine delays? I'm seeing it's 3 bar and then mine is showing only 1. Connection is weak. This may impact the quality of your call. Can you hear me, please? If you can hear me, just let me know.
Yes, so we can.
Madam Dede, can you hear me? The voice is down, or my
Yes,
mic.
yes, we can.
Okay. I'm back. Sorry. So I was talking about the nature of academic writing or academic tests. Okay. So we are going to look at it. Those of you who are please, police officers and army officials and security, that we are going to look at it from a detective's perspective. Only that we are looking at it with the lenses of an architectural, or yes. So I was saying before my network went out that we are looking at it like a blueprint of a house. So if you know the blueprint of a house, what is blueprint? Like, let's say the map, or the how do you call it? The plan of the house. When you pick it, you know where the kitchen is supposed to be. You know where the bedrooms are supposed to be. You know where the bathrooms are supposed to be. You know where the living room is supposed to be, right? And so on, right? So let's use this example of a research article about a new this thing, right? Solar panel. I was looking at that earlier on. Okay. So we look at number 1, which talks about abstract, right? When we say abstract, what we mean by the word abstract is that we are looking at the nature of academic tests, right? And we are taking it point by point. So how should it appear? This is what we are going to talk about. Please, are you following? If you are following, give me a thumbs up. If you are not, give me a thumbs down. If you are not, give me a thumbs down. So when we talk about one of the natures of academic write-ups or academic tests, and we mention one of them as one of the natures, or one of the nature, depending on where you went to school, as being abstract, you would notice that I was talking about, first of all, what the meaning of abstract is. Okay, so when we say abstract, we are talking about things that exist only in a thought. You see, so the reason why I'm explaining abstract to you is because if I continue, some of you, your brain will not assimilate, because what I'll talk about, you don't even know about it. So it becomes abstract. It becomes only in my thought. And because you don't know, your brain can't fathom, and it stays in that location and refuse to move on with the class. So I'll go back and I'll go and explain the word, because I may feel like some of us may not be conversant with them. And so forgive me if it's repetitive to some of you who are, a bit distinct. Okay, so it doesn't mean that those people are slow. One day I'm going to talk about the visual learners and then the audible learners, but you can also do your research on that. Our system in Ghana favors the audible learners more than the visual learners. Those people who are able to catch the thing as the lecturer is saying and then, reproduce it. But you see, there are a group of people who want to be able to understand what the lecturer is talking about, what the tutor is talking about, and be able to not just produce, but also use it to solve problems, use it to properly understand. And these people, they normally want to understand it based on what they already know. How can it be related to things around them? So you realize that when I'm teaching, I try to do those things. It's very important. So, but the audible learners, it will be as if, oh, you are just delaying, no. I'm actually addressing 2 groups of people at the same time. Okay, if not 3 or 4 groups of people. Because we have the audio, visuals, and so on. Yeah. So, yeah, it's very important. So the word abstract is something that is existing within thoughts only, okay, or as an idea, and not necessarily physical. Hey, you may me bro for papa. Yay. Me bro for but in the beginning me I want to view. Yay. Okay. So things that are basically and academic write-ups or ideas generate first from thoughts before and knowledge, before you stand on them to do research to see if someone has ever done it, to make references from there. Do you get it? And so they normally count as abstract. So that's why that's the first point as a nature of academic write-up. Are we following? Are we following? So as a nature, this is one of them. And I was going to go into the nitty-gritties. Okay, so let me just talk about here. Explain to details your slides. Academic writing uses formal language. This is one of the nature, right? So you can just pick everything that we have done before and then bring it. The ideas are presented in a logical and structured manner. So this one is what I was trying to explain. You get it? So it comes from ideas. Ideas are presented in a logical and structured manner. So what you know is scattered in your mind. So you look for the referencing, the sources, and so on and so forth, and then you make meaning of it based on what is happening in the environment, and then you use it to solve a problem. And that is where academic writer begins to solve problems. Arguments and claims are supported by evidence. So these are the characteristics of, so academic text, academic writing, they are not different, entirely different from each other. So you can pick the features of academic writing, you get it, and then use it to do academic tests, and then you're good to go, because these are the same things, but you just need to frame them well, and you are gone. Importance of understanding academic. I wanted to go into details on so many things, but I realized that, these ones are just, sharp, and we've done it, so there's no need to repeat. Okay, if you need an in-depth, this thing, more extensive than what I'm doing, because I'm already doing extensive teachings or tutoring, right, on these things. Importance of understanding academic. Okay, test helps students. Academic test, I think, text helps students understand complex computing concepts and systems, right? The text, the documents available, the journals, the what are they? The textbooks, here are the conference papers, technical reports. These are the types of academic texts, so please keep them. Journal articles, conference papers, technical reports, textbooks, which one again? And so on and so forth. They are all academic tests. Okay, thesis and so on and so forth. So ideas are presented. Oh, I've talked about these ones already. So we're talking about the importance of understanding, and the first one was on this one. So I was just going back to refer. Okay, enables critical analysis of algorithms, software, and technologies. All right, helps you to properly analyze things. So if you are able to analyze these texts, now you can move on to research works, deeper research works, and it helps you to break down, because analysis means breaking down, right? So break down these complex structures in computing, including algorithms, okay, softwares, and technologies, right? Yeah, helps you to break down these things to properly understand, right? Just by the studying of these things. So supports effective academic writing research projects. We've learned about these things. Enhances problem solving. It helps you not to solve problems entirely, but it enhances your ability that you already have to solving problems. You get it? Don't worry, we are going to end the class very soon. I just want us to complete this this document we have there. Then we will only have the week 4, which is only in the Sakai platform. I wanted us to finish this thing, but I understand that you'll be too packed with so many things. Okay, so let's stick with this, and then another time maybe we'll complete it. And also, if you have a problem with understanding the assignment on it, you can reach out, and then it will be properly explained. I am going to try and get myself. I've not been stable for a lot of things. I am dedicating this week and then next week to even do combined slides for all the courses, and then we will be able to post all of that. I think one of the things that's making it difficult is that most of the lecturers, they want to lecture before they release the slides, So this semester has been, when I look at it, I want to sit down and then do all at a go. But, structure of an academic, how is it structured? You see, abstract, the ideas, okay, is repeating it over here, right? Introduction, methodology, the structure of academic article must be based on ideas. It must have an introduction. There must be a methodology that it will follow, right? A procedure, basically, and then it must have a result because it must be based on analysis, identifying a problem, analyzing, and then evaluation, right? Which also includes a conclusion. Okay, normally evaluation also includes conclusion, but in this matter, it has been separated. So you have the results and discussion, where it's part of it, right? And then we have the conclusion part. The people are telling me that the class doesn't go beyond 9. When it reaches 9, you have to close. I'm sorry, but today we want to shame, if you understand what I mean, right? So the structure of academic writing, these are the key main thing. From the beginning to the end, it starts with an idea, and then from the idea, which means abstract, you get it. Very important. What I'm saying now is very important too. So let's get it. It starts with an idea. For you to write an academic article, it starts with an idea, and then now you begin with your introduction when you write it, and then you must have a method that you follow, methodology, how you follow, even the way you position your points and so on, and how you present them, and then your results, and then the discussion on your results. You get it, must be available even inside somewhere. You get it, comparing it with others and all that. You get it, and then must have a conclusion on the solution or the problem that it has solved. You see, and then the final one is basically of an academic article. When you normally see it, you normally see the sources below it. You get it, all the where they reference everything. It comes after the conclusion. Okay, so it's very, very important. Very, very important. Reading academic text effectively. You must read the abstract first, which is the idea. You must understand the idea behind the whole thing, where it's emanating from. Identify the research problem. Identify what problem is there to be solved in the first place. You get, as you are reading all these plenty things. That's why I told you, let the AI that you are using break it down for you. So when it breaks it down, some of them will just the proper ones. I hope you are using proper AI. It will break down, and then it will show you how the problem is and what you need to do specifically. Hey, I have a meeting at 10. Oh, identify the research problem. Identify the research problem. Note key arguments. Focus on conclusions. Okay. After you identify the problem, then you know what other people are saying against what is being written, and then you know which one is solving the problem or which one is telling the truth. You see, then you focus on the conclusions. Are the conclusion justifying the arguments that are being had, or they are agreeing on the same thing, or it's opposing each other, or which one solves the problem? So this helps you to read or to understand. So when you classify an academic test in these ways, you are able to understand effectively. So reading academic tests effectively, these are the points that help you to completely understand. And so critical reading skills that you must have is to identify the author's argument. So it is based on this one, based on these ones now. So you see the argument, note key arguments. So that means the what? I identify the author's argument. And then the next one is what? Where is it? Critical reading. evaluate evidence. So the evidence that have been given, focus on conclusion. You get it? You weigh the opposing sides, and then you see how their arguments, as I was saying, are opposing each other. You get it? Then you make your own judgment. So, what is it? Evaluate the evidence that it has been given based on the sources. You evaluate them to see even if the person who the fact that you've made references doesn't mean that your write-up is correct. Or maybe the person made a mistake, and you two are, because he's saying what you're saying. So there's a need to properly assess where you are referencing from. You get it? Otherwise, you make the wrong judgment or pronouncement. Distinguish facts from opinion. So you must know when the person is just giving their opinion or when the person is just stating facts. You get it? Either from statistics or from this thing. They must speak facts and not their opinions. So you should know when people are prescribing something, right? And when they are describing. Okay. So ask critical questions, and these are the reading skills that you need to have. So in summary, academic tests support learning. Structure improves understanding, right? When you have a proper structure, you properly understand. When you pick this thing that has a good structure, good methodology, you are able to understand what is being communicated, right? And reading improves writing. The more you read, the more you're able to write well. So everybody begin to read. Am I speaking like begin to read? Reading is very important. We all need to engage in reading. Like I said, you can pick a whole write-up and then do your own analysis and then generate your own conclusion, compare other arguments that talk about the same thing, and how you can banter it and oppose ideas from opposing sides. If you have a question, you can text me. I'm always opened up to answer you. Because of time, I need to run. Your test will be ready. You have agreed that the 20 questions will be for 4 minutes, right? The guy who was arguing, how do you call it? Speaking on your behalf said 4 minutes for 20 questions. And I think all of you agreed with it. So 4 minutes it is for 20 questions. Okay. All right. So on this note, I'll end here and then run away to go and prepare for another meeting. Thank you all. It's been a privilege having all of you. Get prepared for the quizzes. When I meet you again, it might be 211. And so I'll be alternating the Mondays and Fridays for the 3 courses I'm taking now. So get ready. Be ready. The Cons 101 students, I'll be posting the a quiz. The quiz is ready. I was supposed to post it yesterday for you, but I couldn't. I was having mercy on all of you, and also because of the assignments that are being dropped for other courses, too much. So we needed to also let them have a few. So thank you all for participating tonight. It's been a privilege having all of you. Reach out if you have more questions, and you'll be attended. Otherwise, I'll see you in another time. Bye-bye.